Hey guys, welcome to another video. I've got another project on my hands here, this GS 500, which I've had kicking around for a few years in my garage. So let me show you what I need to do to it. First I'm going to take this top box off because it's absolutely massive and the bike will look a lot better without it, I think, so I'm going to take that off now. Right, so here's the engine that I'm going to put back in, and this is the framework I made to hold the engine in the go-kart out of the old crash bars off the GS. So I've just bunged up the intake manifold and the exhaust. I'm just going to give this a bit of a clean as well before I put it in. You can see here where the corrosion's burst the aluminium off the crankcases on one of the engine mount bolts, and it'll still hold in. There's still plenty of other mounts, but that's part of the reason I don't want to go too far doing this thing up. I've asked a welder if he could do that and he couldn't weld it, so apart from getting some more crankcases and fully stripping engine down, which isn't worth it to me, I'll leave that for someone else to sort out. But it were a good runner, so that's one thing. Right guys, I've given GS a wash, got it back in garage. I'm going to make a start on getting this engine back in the frame. So I've got these crash bar setup thing to remove off this engine, and then have a go at lifting it in. So you can see I've just removed this side of the frame, like the cradle underneath comes off, the other side's fixed, so makes it easier to, well, makes it possible to install the engine, and then that just goes back on, and then the engine mount bolts go in. You can see here now where this front engine mount bolt should go, where the aluminium's corroded. We're running the bike in the salt and rubbish weather, and it's burst, it's rusted and popped the aluminium off there. So that's that one. There's two underneath that are okay. I remember now when I took this out, this mounting bolt would not come out. It's absolutely welded solid with corrosion, and that goes in these top lugs here. So I've had to bend the engine round and chop this side off just to lift the engine out. so that's going to have to be put back in, and I'll just weld that back on. That's all I can do for now. So that's what you get with running bikes in the winter with salt. I'll just give the frame a bit of a clean up now with grinder, just ready to weld that when the engine's in the frame. Well, that's engine in. That were a lot heavier than I remember. Pretty hard work. I'm glad I'm not so bothered about scratching anything, because I'd have had to come up with a better idea of getting it in than that. So this mount here, that's where I had to cut the little lug off the frame. So I've got that to weld back on. There in place. Then I can put the nut back on. Obviously, if anyone ever wants to get the engine out again, they're going to have to do the same thing, or cut the bolt or something. I just didn't dare try getting that bolt out. I thought I was risking breaking the aluminium lug off the crankcase. I didn't want to try it. Right guys, that's engine in. I've welded that lug back on the frame there, which holds that part of the engine mount, and then there's an engine mount under there. Another bolt right through. There's one more through there, which goes onto a bit of cradle frame that's I've got to still put on. That's the damaged bit there, which ain't really going to do a lot, but there's 3 other mounts holding it, so it ain't going to go anywhere. So I'll just rest the cradle to put on and start putting all the other bits on to make it run. Right guys, I'm going to end this video here. Engine's in, so that's our bit done. So in next video, we'll get a few more little bits on like carbs and stuff, and we'll try and get this thing to fire up. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and then I'll keep you updated with progress on this. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers guys.